Good morning. My turn to preach again. And today is a twofer, like I used to say, because there's two different aspects of today that I want to go through, both of which are very important to me. The first is RCIA. You know, every year we have an RCIA class, which stands for Rights of Christians, Adult Initiate, whatever. Right of Christian adults, initiation of adults. And every year we have the RCIA class, and we invite people that are not Catholic that may be considering becoming Catholic to come to the meetings. And on September 14th at 7 o'clock down in a multi-purpose room, we're going to be having a class. And, you know, anyone's invited. And why is that so important to me? Because I went through RCIA. You know, I was not born a Catholic. When I came to Pittsburgh, I went to a Catholic university. I married a Catholic. My kids are Catholic, but I wasn't. And as I've always said, I've been at Saints John and Paul since it began. And I began to notice that as I was sitting out there, I was missing out on everything else that was going on up here. And all the other opportunities that converting to the Catholic faith offered me. All right, why didn't I? Why did it take me so long? You know, my history is that my family, my parents, my siblings were very anti-Catholic, and I was raised in a family that really believed all that. So it took me a while to realize that, you know what? I'm missing out on too much. You know, we just went through the Bread of Life discourse with John over the past few Sundays in the gospel. And you stop and think, you know, Christ is saying we have to accept him and we have to partake of his body and blood. But we can't do that unless we become part of his family. And the family is the church. And so as a result, I decided I'm going to do it. I'm biting the bullet. My family, my immediate family, was more important to me, and being able to share with all the people here the things that come with the Catholic faith, I became Catholic. And I just want to say, you know what, if you come to this meeting, there's no pressure. We're not going to browbeat you. We're not going to try and, make you feel like you have to become it. We're not going to indoctrinate you. That was one of the beautiful things about this, because I taught RCIA after I became Catholic. So I just want to invite anyone who feels like they may want to become part of the Catholic faith, wants to get a better understanding, because that's always an issue. People misunderstand our faith. And invite them to come and just sit in a meeting. You don't want to come back, don't come back. But I think you'll find it interesting. Pivot. You know, listen to today's gospel. There are gospels that I call the scribes and Pharisees gospels. You know, you look at the first reading today. Moses is giving the Jewish people the laws that they are to live by. You know, he got the 10 Commandments, but he also got, there's over 600 laws that they were supposed to follow in order to follow what God wanted them to do. It was very God-centric. All these laws were geared towards the people keeping in a good relationship with God. So what happens over time? It goes from a God-centric relationship to a human-centric relationship. You know, the scribes and the Pharisees were part of the leadership of the Jewish people, and they liked that power. They liked being able to say to them, you have to follow this rule, regardless of why it was put there. If you don't follow that rule, you're a sinner, and we're going to, send you as an outcast. And Christ today is saying, you know what? You got it all wrong. And Isaiah prophesies that you were going to get it all wrong. You need to come back to where the law is supposed to take you. And that is to God. And the problem is, that still goes on today. We sometimes forget where we need to go, where we need to allow Jesus to lead us. You know, the church is just as guilty. I have my saying, my family knows it well. I have my scribes and Pharisees saying, when I see something that is going on that's not leading me to Jesus Christ, because that's the most important thing in our lives. That's the most important thing to me. Leading the people that I deal with and that I talk to, and the people with problems, leading them to Jesus Christ. Because that's what he wants. And that is what he's saying. And when I see these situations where it's a scribes and Pharisees situation, I don't see it. The question, is this tradition? Is what I'm doing leading me or leading someone else to Jesus Christ? And you know what? If it's not, I have to reevaluate that tradition. I have to reevaluate the things in my life where I want to be able to take the people and fulfill Jesus' request of all of us. Sometimes it's not easy. You know, we're raised in a society where, you know, it's black and white sometimes. Well, you know what? It's not black and white sometimes. Sometimes we need to think about what it is we are doing. And in those instances where there are questions in your mind, I ask you to reevaluate the situation and to ask yourself that question. Is following this taking me to Jesus Christ? And if it's not, how do I correct it?